On this episode of The Court HD talks about the death of the point guard position and what the future holds for the game of basketball. The Court starts now.
Rick Pitino recently said the death of the point guard has arrived.
There are no point guards anymore. The days of John Stockton are long gone. There are no more point guards. Chris Paul's probably the last one.
I agree, and just to be in the G League and even be around some college players, just the conversation alone with some of these, so-called point guards, is unfortunate, but it's a scoring game,
yes.
and these guys believe that in order to make it, you got to put that ball through the hoop.
What is your approach coming into a game?
Are you unselfish? Are you monitoring your teammates' behavior and how they approach the game? Like, somebody might have had a bad day today. Like, you know what, man, I got to get you the ball today. Like you haven't had a good game in a while. You know what I'm saying? Let me get you going. Like that takes a lot. It's not just going out there and passing the ball, but you got to be really unselfish and really get your teammates involved and get to know them as a person.
When you have all those type of weapons, you got a Carmelo, you got a JR, you got a Kenyon Martin, you probably got some guys off the bench that need the ball.
We had a crazy team, and
y'all was good too.
I'm a point guard.
Yeah.
And, I got to set the tone in practice. I got to be available every day. And it's like, of course, you hear how they talk about George Karl, you know what I'm saying? And so it was like, George is like, Dre, we got to get him to practice. They're like, what you want me to say to them dudes? You know what I'm
just
saying?
to get them to practice?
To practice. But some days, some guys just didn't have it. All right, what you want me to say? Like, I'm going to just go out there and try to lead by example.
Right.
I might joke around and do something different in practice because we all get tired of the repetition. So let me make a couple jokes. Let me do something to get the three-man weave. We doing three-man weave for 30, 45 minutes. Like, okay, let's clown around a little bit. But, I just tried to read their body language, and I approached everything in the NBA with a certain level of respect for my teammates. It all started with respect, and that's how I earned it through the work.
That was Andre Miller on the, I think it's All Smoke podcast. That was a clip with him talking with Matt Barnes, talking about the state of the point guard position in pro basketball. And Rick Pitino had started it with that clip. And then, of course, Andre Miller put the icing on the cake on that. My take on that is absolutely 100% facts. The point guard position no longer exists. If you watch the game and the way the game is now, you look at those sheets, you'll see 2 forwards and 3 guards. You won't see small forward. You won't see shooting guard. You won't see point guard. You won't see anything. You'll just see 2 Fs, 4 Gs, 1 F, 4 Gs, 4 Fs, 1 G. Those are how the sheets are put out now. And the problem is with that is the death of the point guard position kills the structure of the game of basketball. It's not just in North America, it's all over the world. And in some instances, the guards themselves are tall. Like, I'll give you an example. Anthony Davis was a guard in high school. He was a point guard in high school. He was 6'1", 6'2", and then he had this ginormous growth spurt, put him to 6'7", 6'8", and by the time he finished out in Kentucky, he was like 6'10", 6'11". If I'm correct. If I got it wrong, I apologize. But you all know how big Anthony Davis is. Anthony Davis is a fantastic ball handler. But because of his size, he has to play that position according to the rules. Anthony Davis would love to play point guard, but it's just not happening, KD, for example, is 6'11". He has no body to play the small forward, the power forward, or the center position, which is the natural positions that I know back in the days, but he's not. Kevin Durant at best is a shooting guard. He's got 180 pound, maybe 200 pound frame, but he's got those handles and he could shoot. So in some instances, some of these kids have outgrown the position that they naturally played. Like, I've seen a couple of kids that were, say, 6'1" in the summer of 2022. And by the time I saw them this summer, they're 6'5", 6'6". And, they're being told by their coaches, you can't play that position. You got to play the 2. You got to play small forward. So in some instances, it's the pressure of not the skill, it's the height. Now, if the players were allowed to play based on their skill level and not on their height, how different would the game be? And that's a question I have for all the listeners on this show. And, it's interesting. Anthony Davis is allowed to play the position he likes to play, which is guard. How would he be? Kevin Durant played the guard position. I mean, he just comes down the floor, jacks up and shoot. That's a shooting guard. That's a natural 2 guard. We're talking Allen Iverson-esque, but Allen Iverson was a 5'11 guard. He wasn't a point guard. He was a 2. But if you look at his assists per year, you can't say nothing. But he's not in the top 5 all-time assists, though. So what Andre Miller is saying is 100% facts. And the thing is that everybody wants to score now. All 5 positions, they want to score. Centers want to shoot. Power forwards want to shoot. Small forwards want to shoot. Guards want to shoot. Point guards want to shoot. So those 5 positions that were naturally laid out for years in the game of basketball are no longer relevant. So when you, like I said before, when you see stat sheets, you see the forwards, the Fs. You're only going to see Fs and Gs on those papers. Even when you play fantasy basketball, don't bother putting a point guard spot in fantasy basketball. For all you fantasy basketball players, do not put fantasy basketball with a PG position because there is none. There's maybe one player right now that you could put in the PG slot. 2, Chris Paul and Trae Young. That's it. Everybody else is a shooting guard playing that guard position. I'll give you guys an example. The assist leader in the NBA last year, past season, Trae Young was 11.6. So Trae Young led the league in assists with 11.6 last season. Do you know who the other 4 were? I'll tell you the other 4. The other 4 were Jokic at number 2. That's a center / power forward. He's a natural big. Tyrese Halliburton, who is a natural 2 guard. Cade Cunningham, who's a natural small forward / 2. And of course, James Harden, who's definitely a 2 guard, can play the 3 spot. So there's no other natural guards in that top 5. The only one for years that was kind of fluctuating in that list that was not a guard was LeBron, because LeBron is just a natural freak of nature. But none of these guys are guards, are natural point guards. The only one is Trae Young, and Trae Young does like to take his shots, but the rest of these guys are natural in other positions. They're not point guards. So yes, the death of the point guard has come. Is it ever going to get back to that? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I mean, you see a couple of highlights in AAU clips on social media. You see a couple of clips on YouTube, and you do see clips of these young kids. They're small, they're still growing. But besides all of that, no, it's not happening. It's not happening. I think the point guard business has died. And for me personally, if I have to give you my top guards, I'll give you top 8. If I have to give you my top 8 natural point guards of all time, and I say them because I like them, but I also have my, they're just my top 8. Top 10. You know what? Let me rephrase that. I'm going to give you my top 10 point guards of all time. My top 10. There could be a lot of arguments, but I'm going to give you my top 10. So my top 10 would be Magic Johnson, 6'8". Naturally, he's not 6'8". In the point guard world, but he was 6'8", and he was a natural point guard. Can you imagine that? Magic Johnson was 6'8" in an era where guards were under 5'11", 5'11", say 6'3" and under. Oscar Robertson was an exception to the rule, but everybody else was under, say, 6'2", 6'3". Magic Johnson was an exception to the rule at 6'8". He wasn't a great shooter, but he was a fantastic passer, and he mastered it. Magic Johnson on my list, number 1. John Stockton, number 2, natural point guard. Number 3, Jason Kidd, natural point guard. Number 4, Mark Jackson, definitely natural point guard. Number 5, Gary Payton, natural point guard. Number 6, Chris Paul. The stats speak for itself. Steve Nash, natural point guard, whether you like him or not. And number 8, no question, has to make my top 10. Andre Miller at number 8, natural point guard. Now, at number 9 and 10, these are specials, but I have to put these guys on the list because one of them, when he was playing the guard position, did some crazy things. And the other one is a point guard. He was probably the best, part of the greatest under 6 feet duel in the history of basketball. Isaiah Thomas at number 9. Definitely number 9, number 9, Isaiah Thomas. And at number 10, it's one of my all-time favorites just because of his game and what he did with the basketball. Penny Hardaway. Penny Hardaway, definitely at number 10. So that's my top 10. So, but yes, the death of the point guard is real. But hey, the game itself hasn't evolved. I'm not going to answer that. I mean, the money-wise, financially, it has evolved tremendously. But as far as the quality of the game, that's a whole different conversation for another day. So, but also quickly in other news, LeBron had his announcement. You all saw what it is. No further comment. And, also with the NBA season soon approaching, it's going to be interesting. I'm watching these young players and watching the lack of preparation. And for me, I think preparation, me growing up and playing the game, just the high school level, rep level, pickup level, men's league level, the most important and favorite thing for me was preparation because I knew what I needed to do. Preparation was always the key because it prepared you mentally. Even if you fell, you had bumps, it doesn't matter. You were ready to play. Preparation always prepares you, even if you're getting your ass roasted. You know what to do. You know how to handle it. You know how to set yourself up to prepare for the next challenge. Especially if you go down 20 points, you know how to put yourself in the position to slowly chip away and get back. I think preparation is the greatest thing, whether it's in anything it should be. For me, for this podcast and for the shows that I do, preparation is the greatest thing. The preparation and the passion for me is why I do this. I think there's a lack thereof in the NBA right now and in most basketball platforms across the world. In Europe, it's a little different. If you've ever seen basketball in Europe, whether it's in Italy or Greece or Spain, they don't play around. They don't care if you're not passionate. Because by the way they coach the game out there, they'll find out if you are. And once you're not, you got to go. That's how they do it in Europe. If you've ever watched Europeans coach, trust me, they will fizzle out the bad apples very, very quickly. Where in North America, they kind of push you. They see money. They see dollars and cents. They want to keep pushing you. So that's my quick thing here today. Death of the point guard, another episode of The Court. Of course, you know where to find this podcast. The Pod Show by Beat Fact Music. Folks, as always, wherever you are, whatever you're doing right now, good morning, good day. Good morning, good afternoon, good day, good evening, good night. I'm out. Peace. Signing off.